Good evening. I would like to call to order the Westbrook School Committee meeting. It is Wednesday, May 11th. We could stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Dr. Lancia.
Jessica Foley.
Here.
Jeremy McGowan.
Here.
Andrew Mancuso.
Here.
Noreen Poitras.
Here.
Katie Rice.
Here.
Vice Chair Beth Schultz.
Here.
Chair Suzanne Salisbury.
Here.
All present.
And we do have some adjustments to the agenda. I believe you guys received those. They are under communications, and then we'll be adding an item under new business. On to approval of the minutes from April 25th. Any questions about that? Yes. Motion to approve?
Yes.
All right, second by Katie. You can just do all those in favor.
I was absent.
Okay. All those abstained? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to communications and correspondence that are in your packet. Any questions about those? Okay, student council government, oh, yes.
Can I just get clarification? Under the April 13th, it says that employees were hired for 1 year only, 21-22 school year. Is that correct, the year? So they were notified that contracts were up at the end of the school year?
So there were a number of positions that were hired under the ESER, the emergency funding, as one-year positions. So those people were reminded that their positions were ending at the end of the school year.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, on to student council government reports. In there. Okay, and we'll come to our first public participation for agenda items only. Is there anybody that would like to speak? Okay, great. And then we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Salisbury. In your packets, you have the Teaching and Learning newsletter for the month of May. It'll also be going home in Thursday folders, and it will be published to the website tomorrow. A few highlights this month. This is a really exciting time of year. This is the time of year when we celebrate and we honor our students, our staff, the people who make up the Westbrook schools. And recently there have been some really fantastic recognition ceremonies and events to celebrate the high achievement and the success of students at Westbrook High School. Congratulations to our newly inducted members of the National Honor Society, as well as the National Technical Honor Society at WRVC, the National Art Honor Society, and the Triam Music Honor Society. So congratulations to all of our students. All of those honor societies all recognize scholarship as well as leadership and service and dedication, and they really represent a wide range of talent here in Westbrook. Last Friday evening, there was a dinner to honor our top achieving seniors, the top 10% of the graduating class of 2022. I'd like to congratulate them. Shuni Metalenu, our valedictorian, Colin Allen, our salutatorian, Lily Grant, our honor essayist, Ryan Ball, Madeline Dannenauer, who's the top student at WRVC, Angelina DiBiase, Delaney Butts, Aidan Cooper, Fallon Walsh, Keegan Poen, Ava Lamontagne, Maxim LaPlante, Khalid Haj Al-Qaidar, and Bronson Damon. congratulations for your achievement and the success that you've had in high school. We wish you the very best as you move on. We have students attending Dartmouth College, as well as the University of Maine, the University of Southern Maine, Hofstra University, Clarkson College, Thomas College. Great success that we're seeing with this class of 2022. And this has been quite an experience. Those of you seniors in the audience, you've had quite a time these last few years. We can't wait to continue to celebrate your success this year. So congratulations to our top 10%. And just as a reminder to the school committee, graduation is coming up on June 11th, 6 o'clock at Merrill Auditorium. You all have seats reserved, so we look forward to seeing you there. And also want to make sure that our community remembers that graduation is coming up. Graduation is a community celebration. It's a celebration of the culmination of 13 years of hard work that this community has supported its students. So as we celebrate the class, it's also a time to celebrate our community and the hard work and dedication of the school, the leaders in the community, and the entire community of Westbrook. Also in the newsletter is some information about hiring. We are hiring a number of positions for the 22-23 school year. If you are interested in working in the Westbrook schools, and we hope that you are, please visit our website, but also you'll note that there is a new way to apply for positions. We're using a new software system that allows candidates to submit an application and the materials, and at the click of a button are able to apply to different positions within the school district and within other school districts, but of course we want to prioritize Westbrook. We hope that that will help with our recruiting because we'll be recruiting here locally as well as all around the country. It's a national platform. So we look forward to meeting candidates for all of our different positions this school year. And also in the newsletter is another copy of next year's school calendar. I know some people are anxious to put dates in their books, in their calendars, so that they can plan vacations, etc. That calendar is on the website, but it's also in the newsletter. A few other notes I'd like to mention. I'd like to thank and congratulate our employees in the Westbrook School Department in this year's United Way campaign. The United Way of Southern Maine is an incredibly generous partner with the Westbrook schools, has been for many years, and I'm pleased that we were able to support the good work of the United Way. Our employees contributed $4,649 in pledges toward the community campaign. So thank you to our employees, and thank you to United Way as they continue to partner with us on so many different projects in our schools and within our community. I'd like to mention that we have coming up at Westbrook High School a week from Friday on May 20th from 11 in the morning until 9 in the evening, the Relay for Life of Westbrook. The Relay for Life is an event, a celebration, a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. Mr. Solomon from Westbrook High School came to the school committee a couple of months ago to mention this, to invite people to participate in this event, and we hope that people will. There are events all day long and will culminate in the evening with a special ceremony honoring those that we've lost to cancer by lighting luminaria across the field. So it should be a beautiful event, a moving event, and a fun event too. Thank you to Mr. Solomon and the other staff at Westbrook High School for making this possible. I'd like to recognize and congratulate our multilingual students who recently received their access scores. We give a test. We're required to test our students every year in different ways. All of our multilingual students are required to take an assessment called Access, and we just received the results. I'm pleased to say that 22 of our students met the state's criteria to test out of multilingual services. That's a great percentage of students in our program, especially given the challenges of the last few years with interruptions to instruction. 3 students exited at Canal, 5 at Congan, 5 at Sakarapa, 5 at the middle school, and 4 at Westbrook High School. So thank you to our students for your hard work, and thank you to our multilingual staff, Regina Clement, our director, as well as all of our teachers, our staff in the multilingual program, indeed the faculty at all of our schools who support our multilingual learners in so many ways. Also, speaking about our multilingual department, thank you to them and to our civil rights team at Westbrook High School. They hosted this evening a wonderful dinner, their annual multicultural dinner. It was the 10th annual, although it was interrupted by COVID a couple of times. It's come back as a great tradition, celebrating the food and the cultures of many of our students. So thank you to Joelle Lazinski, who is one of our facilitators for the Civil Rights Club, as well as the staff in our multilingual department for celebrating that event and for enjoying a meal together. I would like to mention two retirees. I've been mentioning the retirees as they announce their retirement, and this week we're honoring or recognizing the retirements of Mary Ann Smith, one of our guidance counselors at Westbrook High School, the chair of our guidance department. She's been part of the bedrock of Westbrook High School for a long time. Her talent will be missed, as will her skill. She's the master of the Westbrook High School schedule. And Ms. Harvey and Mr. Colgan, Mr. Garrett are a little nervous with the schedule moving forward, but Mrs. Smith has done a fantastic job, and she will certainly be missed at Westbrook High School. And also one of our bus drivers, Donna Austin, is retiring at the end of the school year. She's driven for us for many years and is taking care of our students, K through 12, in so many different ways. Congratulations to Donna and to Mary Ann for your retirement. We have some students, we have some musicians here this evening, members of our jazz program at Westbrook High School. If you guys could come forward. I'll mention some names and also some honors that they've received. Our music program in Westbrook is one of the finest in the state, and the quality of their instruction, the quality of their musicianship is second to none. And our jazz program in particular, if you've not seen our jazz performances, please check them out as they go through the rest of this year and beyond. Some of our students were recently honored at different festivals. Congratulations to Maxime LaPlante, who received the Dale Huff Award for Outstanding Musician. He was honored at the Maine Music Educators State Jazz Festival at Hamden Academy recently. Also, congratulations to the Westbrook High School Jazz Ensemble, which won the Outstanding Musicianship Award at the Clark Terry UNH Jazz Festival at the University of New Hampshire. Absolutely. And our jazz ensemble also received the gold medal at the Maine Music Educators State Jazz Festival at Hamden Academy. We extend our congratulations to them for all of their hard work, their gold-winning performances. They're spectacular people, spectacular musicians. We're very proud of them. And they were also recently honored with a recognition by the legislature. Maybe Mrs. Salisbury could speak to that.
Congratulations, you guys. And I wanted to tell you first, the legislature did a sentiment on behalf of myself and the other Cumberland County representatives honoring first Maxime LaPlante for his award, as just mentioned. And then we also have another sentiment honoring the members of the Westbrook High School Jazz Ensemble. And then finally, recognition for the high school, the jazz ensemble as well, as Dr. Lancia mentioned. I was very proud to be able to offer those sentiments at the house. Let me give these to you.
May I just say that on behalf of Mr. Smith, who is their teacher in the jazz ensemble, And as the director of music, I just want to say how deeply grateful we are to you, Miss Salisbury, for what you've done for us and for the recognition. The students really deserve it. They work very, very hard to perfect their performance, and they have a super strong work ethic, and this is the result. So thank you for recognizing that. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Salisbury, Representative Salisbury, for recognizing our students. Also, thank you, Mrs. Prue, and to our instrumental music director, Kyle Smith, who was actually at a meeting for the Maine Band Directors Association. He's one of the leaders of that organization this evening. So congratulations to our students and to our music program. I'd like to ask Dr. Mazianis to come to the podium to give you all an overview of where we're at with our Westbrook High School fire insurance claim. We are at the end of that process. We believe the claim is just about settled. It's been a long time coming, and Dr. Mazianis will go over that with you. And it's behind you, but also on a page that he gave you earlier, too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me just get this started. Love that. I actually have it in 2 places, so we'll do it on this. The other one has a cool animation. Okay. So we're at that time where we're sort of settling up accounts with the fire. Again, really tough in many different ways. I want to be really clear that when we talk about, what I'm going to talk about really is the financial impact of the fire, and what was covered, what wasn't, and that sort of thing. Obviously, there was a tremendous amount of other impact, and again, the staff at the high school came together, the students. They did some amazing things to try to get the year going, and under really difficult situations, it was a time to be proud of the way people came together, I think. But in terms of finances, the cool thing would have been in the next one, the slide would have come in. The entire fire itself cost $1.6 million, just over that actually. And I want to talk a little bit about the breakdown. This is why we have insurance. And the cost was not just what the fire and water did, and again, as you guys know, the water was the most extensive part of the damage, but it also had to do with some code upgrades that were done in the first phase of the fire affected part of the building, and there's a second phase that will be coming in work this summer. So a breakdown of the costs is in front of you, and it's kind of up on the screen a little bit. That's a different version of what you folks have, but I'll kind of go through the big points. So there are a couple things that needed to happen. The emergency mitigation services, EMS services, and demolition occurred. That was just over $500,000. All of that, as you can see from the spreadsheet, was covered by our insurance company. And they were here the day of. I mean, this was an amazing effort to get people on site. Actually, all of the people who worked to do this construction were there in record time. The next part was construction and restoration and code updates. Construction and restoration, there was quite a bit of damage in the building that needed to be fixed, drywall that was water damaged, rugs, things like that. There was also, actually rugs doesn't fit under here, sorry about that. There was also quite a few code upgrades, like getting some of the wires off of the deck and changing out some of the wires and actually changing some of the fixtures as well. That came to just over $500,000. There was some property damage to the effect of about $132,000. And then finally, there were additional expenses due to the fire. That picture on the left is one of Labster, which is one of the programs we bought so that our science students could do virtual labs at home, which I think is a pretty creative way to try to engage students during that beginning of the year when we were not able to be in person because the building was not occupiable. So those are the total expenses. If we look at it as a breakdown, our insurance covered 1.2 million, almost 1.3 million of the 1.6 million, and Westbrook School Department paid just $377,000, just over $377,000. Now, one of the things you'll say is, well, our deductible could not have been $377,000, which of course it isn't. It's $5,000. But there were many things that happened as a result of this that once we had the decking and everything open, that we needed to upgrade or replace. And that was Westbrook School Department's responsibility. So there were things like code updates, like putting our cabling and wiring, like replacing all of our low voltage wiring, like there was some fire upgrades, and then there was a smoke barrier upgrades as well to make the building even more fire safe. And these were funded partially by the Westbrook School Department, but actually we had a rider in our insurance policy that allowed them to put in about just around $161,000. So all in all, I'd say that we had quite a few upgrades, and right now, again, we looked at the 377, 813. We've had conversations with the city since the beginning of the fire in order to talk about where we might pick up the difference between what our insurance covers and what needs to be purchased. And we're continuing those conversations. So that's where we are right now. Do you guys have any questions?
Do you guys have any questions? Great, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry, Brian and I are doing a quick switch so I can project something as well. The last thing on my report this evening, I just wanted to share with you a preview of our new website and our new app that will be coming online, hopefully in just about a month or so. We've been researching different platforms for our website, and we chose a platform called Aptigee. And this is a mock-up. This isn't what the actual site will look like, but this gives you a sense of what the website will be like once it's totally done. Those aren't pictures of our students yet, but you can see the graphics are bright and they're attractive and they're inviting. The text is clear and very easy to define. When we look at the navigation bars, we will have a menu that will bring us to a number of very useful links like staff lists, as well as menus, events, athletics, etc., as well as ways to connect with the school department in different ways. The website will have a district website, a web presence, and then each of our schools will be linked with the same platform to this website as well. So if you click on schools, those aren't our schools in the mock-up, but they will be eventually. And one of the most exciting features that I'm really most excited about is there's an ability to translate the entire website into multiple languages at the click of a button. So our common languages will be listed in this drop-down menu. Any content on the website will be able to automatically be translated into Arabic or French or Portuguese. PDFs or documents will still need to have translated versions, but any content on the site will be very readily available in other languages. As we scroll down, there'll be some nice features as well with a scrolling calendar of events. There's a section for news, so content will be fed through the schools and through the school department onto the website. Those will also be pushed out as notifications so that when news events happen, either in the moment, like at the Relay for Life, or stories about different events or different happenings in the schools, you'll see those. There's a live feed and there's an archive of headlines as well. So the design of the website, like I said, is still under construction, but we will be bringing that to life by the end of June, so that we'll be ready to certainly be ready by the start of the next school year. Another feature of Apogee is that we will have an app. And it will be available in the App Store. It's not there just yet, but you'll be able to get a free app, and it'll be recognizable by the school department's logo, and will be housed on your mobile device, and you can click into that, and you'll see it's very readable on a mobile phone, so that it won't be, you won't have to squish content or make things bigger or smaller or do a lot of clicking to get it to a state where you can read it. You'll have the same information that can be found on the website. So if we write a story on the website, we'll be able to push it out to the app as well as to social media or into other types of notification. This platform will eventually replace our school messenger service. So the automated phone calls, automated emails that I send out, all of those will be housed within this one platform. So for those of us who are users or content builders, we'll be able to put one message out in multiple sources by clicking a series of buttons, and it happens. It just happens, which for those of us who do a lot of this content writing, that'll be phenomenal. So you can get a sense of the different types of things that will be available on the app as well. News stories, events. You can filter it to your own preferences. We can put things in there about athletics. We can do live reporting of events or athletics. We can sort them in a number of ways. We'll also be able to list our menu choices, list our staff. It'll really be a very high-functioning, very handy tool for us to be able to communicate with our families, with our students, in a very, I think, attractive way. Dr. O'Donnell has really been the lead on this work. She's not able to be here tonight. She had a family commitment, but she says she hopes you like it. she's our resident. She saves me a lot as the resident techie. She and Jane Barnes have done a terrific job, really looking into the software, starting some of those mock-ups, some of those designs, and we look forward to continuing to build this and to get some feedback as we bring this site online very soon. Yeah.
Yes, Andrea.
I'm just wondering when the music comes on and we can all start dancing in celebration for this thing that looks very beautiful. As a parent, I really want to dance and sing. And I just want to say I really appreciate that the administration took the time to make this move in a school year that was as hard and challenging as it was. I think this is really looks really responsive to the ways that folks engage with information. And also supports the demographic in our community. I suspect that it'll be implemented with a little bit of quietness, and so I hope that I hear some accolades from the committee for this work.
Great. Yeah, the summertime launch is intentional, so we can work out the bugs, so that when we can really start thinking about school in August, it'll be ready to roll.
It looks great.
Thank you. And that's the end of the superintendent's report.
Any questions? Yes, Andrea.
So seeing the hiring notice in the Teaching and Learning newsletter and the long list of teachers and ed techs that we have on one-year contracts that we're about to say goodbye to, is there a possibility for us to fill some of these positions that we're posting and looking for with folks that we already know and can, have a sense of how they work in our school communities and maybe save some of our administrators some interviewing time?
That's a good question.
And before some of these teachers I've heard awesome feedback about, and it seems a shame to sort of leave them in limbo if they would be good candidates for some of these open positions. So I was wondering if you could just school me about why we're letting them go if we have open positions.
Right. So when people are hired, they're hired for a particular position. And when there's a temporary position, as many of them were temporary due to the response to the pandemic, so that we could have class size reduction and we could have people filling in for different people who are on leave, they were aware when they were hired that it was a one-year contract. So they knew that that position would end. We knew full well that we have positions every year, and we encourage people to apply for any additional positions. They can't just automatically stay in a position. They aren't guaranteed a position because they were hired in a temporary capacity. However, we strongly encourage people to apply for those permanent positions, for retirements or open positions, as well as any pending one-year-only positions as well. So that, and as we've put a lot of work with each other and getting to know our new staff and working with our staff, we hope many of them will choose to apply and stay here in Westbrook.
And is the reason that we can't just extend their contract if it's for the same type of job, is that tied to the negotiated contract?
It's tied to yeah, it's how the contracts are written, yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Chair Committee reports. First, I just wanted to echo a couple things that Dr. Lancia said. It was wonderful to be able to go back to the multicultural dinner this evening at the high school. That's always a wonderful event. It's a really good reminder of how fortunate we are to have such a diverse school district and to see the families and to share and the food and the meal. It's a lovely event. As we wrap up the school year, it gets really busy with a lot of events, a lot of great recognitions for students. I'm glad that I've been able to go to a couple, and other school committee members. It's nice to see, these kids, especially some that we've known for a long time, graduating. So graduation is coming. Make sure people that want to come are able to come. The other thing that I wanted to say, I just want to add a little bit more about the Relay for Life. I've heard a lot of people talking about it and the planning and that went into this project, and it's really a labor of love for the organizers, so I'm excited to see that be able to happen this year. Yeah, that's all I have to report. The finance report, when was the last time that we met? We met since then? Sorry, hold on a second.
The meeting wasn't held last week.
Yeah, so we just did the budget. So the good news about the finance is that the city council approved our budget with a vote of 5-2. The next steps in that process are going to be another vote by the city council, and then the community voting for it on, hopefully voting for it, I should say, on June 14th. So it'll be great to have as many citizens of Westbrook come out and vote that day. And so we'll keep you posted how the rest of that goes. The policy committee, I hear you guys have met.
We have met. I'm sorry, there's no notes in the packet from our meeting. We have 2 meetings this month to make up for the missed April meeting when the second reading of the budget happened. So we met this past Monday on May 9th, and I know our administrative team raced to get some of the policy language into today's meeting. First on our agenda was JICJ, which is the student use of personal electronic devices at school. I'm sure no one has any idea what this is about. This was the second meeting that we talked about this policy. It's brought forward for us to review and vote on during tonight's meeting. Principal Wood discussed a request to modify this policy for the middle school at length over our last 2 meetings. She provided some very persuasive justification for her request, and we had asked her to provide us some feedback from parents, from middle school parents, and she had had a number of meetings with parents and reported that all the parents that she had spoken to had expressed support. She'd also done some conversations with her staff and reported that her staff was very supportive of her proposal. So you'll see in your packets, we're proposing to extend the K-6 cell phone policy K through 8, but also doing it in a way that it will not change the status quo for the current 7th and 8th grade students. They will continue to operate under the current grade 7 and 8 policy, and so it will impact this year's 6th graders. The policy itself won't go into effect until September, and it'll be this year's 6th graders that maintain the K through 6 policy, which will be extended K through 8, and then as this year's 7th graders age out of the middle school into the high school, that's when it would impact fully K through 8. So So the language is there in that policy on that one, and I think we'll get to that a little bit later in tonight's agenda. We also continue to chat about ACAAA, which is the transgender and gender expansive policy. We've been having some good back and forth with some of the students from the Spectrum group at the high school and have invited them to participate in our next meeting at the end of the month. And we started some initial conversations about the KLGA policies, which concern our school resource officers. Those policies haven't been reviewed in 10 years, so they're due. And we also need to do some work with the Westbrook Police Department around the fact that all the officers now are equipped with body-worn cameras. So we are anticipating a good discussion about that at the next meeting, and we'll hopefully have some additional work brought forward for our June meeting. And our next meeting is Monday, May 23rd, 5 o'clock at Central Office.
Okay, and ed programs?
We did not meet recently, but we do plan to meet on May 18th.
Okay. Facilities?
We haven't met yet since our last meeting. We meet next Tuesday, the 17th at 5:30 here.
At the middle school, right? Okay. All right, on to old business, 11.1, request to approve the changes to the Westbrook School Department policy BHC, which is school communications with staff. This is an action item for final approval. What are the wishes of the committee? Motion by Ms. Schultz, seconded by Jeremy. Roll call. Roll call, Dr. Lancia. No.
You just have hands if you want. Do you want roll call?
No. Okay. All right, all those in favor? All right, that's 7 in favor, none opposed. Okay. On to new business. And the first item is 12.1, administrator and teacher nominations. We have 12.1.1, the substance abuse counselor at Westbrook High School, and then 12.1.2, the instrumental music teacher, Westbrook Middle School and Westbrook High School. What are the wishes of the committee on this item? 12.1.
Move its approval.
The motion by Ms. Mancuso, seconded by Jeremy. All those in favor? All right, 7 in favor. Okay, item 12.2, the request to approve the sale of unneeded technology. This is also an action item for first approval.
Motion first and final.
For first and final, okay. Made a motion by Jeremy, seconded by Ms. Rice. And I just wanted to can we just talk about that for a little, just a moment, just to explain a little bit what that is, if whoever wants to do that.
There were some pieces of technology that have been purchased, particularly at the start of the pandemic, not knowing the kinds of technology we would need in order to implement remote learning and hybrid learning. These are items that are not being used, and rather than letting them go to waste, or letting them just sit in cartons or boxes, we would like to sell those in the resale. Also, the tech department would like to sell the oldest laptops in the fleet, the MacBook Airs that were purchased beginning in 2014. That pool of devices has been cascading downward from grade 7 and 8 to the elementary schools, so we have newer devices there, but we would like to be selling those. So this would provide a nice revenue source, as well as make good use of technology that's still in good working condition, not tip-top brand new, but good working condition.
Great. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? All right, and that was final approval.
Thank you.
Great. Item 12.3, request to approve the Assistant Superintendent of Schools from second-year probationary status to first-year continuing contract status. This is an action item for first approval. What are the wishes of the committee?
Motion 12.3, 12.4, 12.5, 12.6, 12.7, 12.8.
In
What's the word?
aggregate.
Aggregate, thank you.
All right. All right, is there a second to that? Is it Ms. Rice? All right, so we have 12.3, that was the Assistant Superintendent. 12.4, request to approve second-year probationary administrator to first-year continuing contract status. And then 12.5, to approve the first-year probationary teachers to second-year probationary status. And 12.6, request to approve second-year probationary teachers to first-year continuing contract status. And 12.7, request to approve third-year probationary teachers to first-year continuing contract status. Those are all action item first approval.
And 12.8.
And 12.8, which is the new item we added, which is request to approve third-year probationary teacher to first-year continuing contract status, also action item first approval. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? And, all right. All in favor? Right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, and let's see. Okay, on to important dates.
Oh, we have the adjustment. for
The adjustment under communication.
12.9 would be approving the policy changes to JICJ.
Oh, yeah. Where did
I don't think
Sorry.
it had a
Got it.
number on our adjustments to the agenda.
So that would be item 12.9, request to approve changes to policy JICJ, student use of personal electronic devices at school. This would be a first reading.
Yes, motion by Ms. Mancuso,
Yes.
seconded by Ms. Rice. Would you like to discuss that a little bit or any further than what you've already let us know, or?
I mean, I think I blathered on about it a bit. In the policy committee update, I will say the policy committee members unanimously supported bringing it forward thusly. I think the committee put Mrs. Wood through her paces with lots of questions. I know she's met extensively with the school community over the last couple of months, and her reports, I think, satisfied the committee's questions. So the policy committee recommends it move forward as drafted, with a note that we have a couple little technical periods and a word that needs to come out, but those can be fixed between the first and second reading.
Okay, Ms. Rice?
I just want to add one of the questions that was asked and Ms. Woods answered well was that this wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. This was something she'd been looking for years ago when the policy was first discussed. So this is not something new or different, just something that we're, over the years have realized really should have been probably K through 8 to start, and we're making that correction essentially now.
Oh, thank you for that. Noreen?
Yes, sorry for my voice. I unfortunately feel it is a knee-jerk because I've been on this committee and this is the first time this has been re-brought to us. If it wasn't for those cell phones being recorded of that fight, honestly, would this really be here? And my concern is I think the 8th graders should have the right to have them at recess and outside.
I'm having a hard time hearing. I'm so sorry.
I'm
So,
sorry. I think the 8th graders should have the right to use them outside and at recess time and lunch. You got to teach them, and the parents got to teach them how to use their phones responsibly. That's my concern. I mean, how are we going to know if there's an incident at the middle school anymore? We will not know. If it wasn't for that video, we would not be here right now. And all these parents would not be coming forward with questions on why. Because my kids have gone through the school system. I know there's been bullying on. I've always asked for proof, and no one has ever been able to provide me with proof of the bullying or any incidents at the school.
so you're saying that they should have cell phones so they can prove that bullying's happening?
No, I think I think they should have, they need to be taught how to use them responsibly, and by taking them away, you're not teaching them anything. They're still going to use them. They're going to sneak them in the bathroom. They're still going to take selfies. They're still going to text. They're still going to Snapchat. And that's my concern. Then I'm concerned about the safety. What happens if we have a lockdown and these parents want to call the kid to make sure they're okay? They're not going to be able to. The administrators aren't going to be able to handle all those phone calls to get in touch with their kid. And that's another safety concern I have.
Ms. Rice?
Both of those concerns were discussed at the meeting on Monday. In regard to the kids having their cell phones outside at recess and at lunch, a lot of the discussion was around the fact that after, especially having so much time that they've been forced to be apart, recess and lunch are a great time for them to be able to have face-to-face conversations with their peers, to be engaging with other students and not be with their faces in their cell phones. So that was part of the thought process of why it is a benefit to them to not be conversing with someone they may not even know on a game or whatever they're doing on their phone, and actually be talking to the person right next to them instead. And then to your point, if there was an emergency, the discussion was those kids may be able to tell you that, yes, I'm okay, maybe, or not, but they're not going to have accurate information. So now, one, do we really want every kid calling their parent with whatever version of events they think is happening? And depending on what the event is, or if they need to be quiet, and that's what's keeping them safe, we don't need cell phones going off and people on them and causing more, more chaos. So those questions were asked and discussed at the meeting.
Yep, go ahead, Andrew.
I agree with Ms. Rice, and I just, from my perspective, I think we need to support our administrators in creating an educational environment that they're telling us is best going to support the learning of their students. I think they're very well positioned to tell us what that is. I think that we need to trust our administrators that they're giving us an accurate reflection of what's going on in the schools until we have a reason not to. I don't think that we've been given a reason not to trust what they're telling us. I would also note that over the course of the 2 meetings, I think we heard from every building administrator. It was not just Principal Wood. Every building administrator, in some way, shape, or form, supported the request and affirmed Ms. Wood's perspective here. And I think in terms of teaching students how to responsibly use electronics, I think that also comes necessarily with the responsibility to teach students how they can be detached from their electronics and go about their day in a healthy way. And I think what Principal Woods is asking us for is age appropriate and supported. And I think this policy change has been aired in the community in a number of different ways. And Ms. Woods has told us that the parents she's spoken to has support moving forward thusly. I think parents that some of us on the committee have spoken to similarly have expressed the same thing. And I would note that there's not a parent here in the audience tonight who's asking us not to do this or telling us that they have concerns about taking this step. So I think it's important to support our educators in creating an environment that they think is best for student learning, particularly after the last couple years.
I don't have an issue with the in-class taking them away. It's the outside. That's what I have a major issue with. If Susie does not want to talk to Charlie, who's outside playing with them, and wants to be on her cell phone to play a game, now we're saying, well, you're going to be forced to talk to somebody, or you're just going to sit there. How is that fair to a child who does not want to engage in conversation with other students? Because there are students out there who do not want to engage with other students. And another concern is, are the teachers' cell phones in the classroom also going to be put away? Is a question I have.
I don't know, what is the policy, Ms. Woods? I don't know if you would like to address that.
Thank you. There are staff-related appropriate use of electronics as well, and staff do sometimes use their phones with apps for education on the, on the Apple TV and displaying, but teachers don't use their cell phones in the classroom. If there were to be an issue along those lines, we certainly have supervision for staff as well.
Right. I just wanted to thank you for answering all of our questions. And in response to Ms. Poitras, I guess I still am very, I'm convinced that there still will be efforts to educate and train students and help students understand the consequences of their actions. So that will also be happening simultaneously to this. I guess one of the tipping points for me was that we're living in a very different world, and this is, what, 2022, and the policy was 2012, and so mobile devices and social media has just expanded tremendously, and in the past couple of years, our students have become very dependent on that. And I like the concept of having them go outside, and just socialize and play, and if they just need to run around, but then to be kind of, if they feel the compulsion then to do something on their cell phone, if that option isn't there, then maybe they'll be doing some things that hopefully will be more productive. And I trust the middle school to come up with a lot of options for kids during that recess time, so, they're not prone to get into inappropriate activities. So.
No, I'm very proud of the fact that Westbrook Middle School has recess for all the way up through grade 8. If you drop by at recess, you're going to find our 8th graders playing basketball, playing football out on the field if the field's not too wet. Jump ropes have been popular recently. And you'll also find a number of kids just sort of sitting on the patio wall, chatting. They do dance-offs with each other. They talk and laugh and giggle and engage with each other. No one is forced, of course, to engage. In fact, if we see a child alone, we might, a staff member might go up and say hello. But there is a natural engagement process that happens. If they have their cell phones, you might walk by and see them sitting on that same wall individually down looking at their phones. And that does, I appreciate Ms. Mancuso bringing up that part of what we're also trying to help teach them is how to separate from the cell phone devices in a healthy way in order to socialize and engage physically in a much healthier way. Our kids don't get enough physical activity, and the opportunity for them to be outside running around, playing tag, playing basketball is something we don't want the phones interfering with that. And I would just want to mention, too, just one quick thing. Captain Goldberg did send me an email in response to my question about the concern about safety and in the event of an emergency. And he actually was at the policy meeting for something else. And his input to that was that, in fact, having lots and lots of cell phone traffic back and forth to 911 or back and forth between parents actually makes the situation less safe because of inaccurate information and tying up phone lines and whatnot. So his feeling about that was that student use of cell phone in an extreme emergency like that makes it less safe.
Thank you for that. I think one of the things I just want to say is if we look back over the last few years, the last 5 or 6 years, incidents that have happened, when there's a rise in incidences, usually they can be tracked back to social media and to somebody posting something on Facebook that that triggered a response, triggered some bullying, and I think that goes from adults to the student. And recent events and even going back a few years, when it comes right down to it, it's related to that. And we've also seen other times when there's been incidents and the social media explosion, which creates some confusion in the community. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to give this a try, to give kids the option to try something without their cell phones and to get back to the task of learning. And to maybe heal a little bit socially and emotionally from the last 2 years.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I agree.
Any other questions? Questions? Sorry, Jeremy.
I just have to say I agree with Noreen to an extent, the safeguard and having the phones there and such. And it's not like we're taking them away from them. If there was some type of mass emergency, that they'd be able to turn their phones on. The problem with social media is it doesn't have hours. It's always open. It's always on. But I think this would be also a great point to point out with our new app, that these types of emergencies would be relayed to every parent that has a phone. You know, if something's happening, that's going to go out almost, I think, instantaneously with more accurate information to the parents, to us, so that we have that communication and we know more distinctively what's going on, rather than the 6th, 7th, or 8th graders trying to tell us their story of what's happening. It is a problem with electronics these days. You know, as a parent, it's hard to get them to put it down. And with bullying and so many different incidences going online, it's you know, they're in the school for their education, for their social ability to communicate with their peers that are in the classrooms with them, with their teachers, their instructors, with the administrators, their counselors. So when you're constantly just clicking a button and you know, hitting apps throughout the day, I really think it dissuades from the education we're trying to give them in more ways than one. So I definitely support. You know, it's unfortunate that we have to do something like this, but it's our responsibility, I think, to take an action when we have incidences of any level, and when there's contributing circumstances of cell phones that are, you know, linking everybody together. You know, I guess enough's enough. You know, the kids are there for a reason, many reasons, and making videos for social media are not on that top 10 list anywhere that I've ever seen. And it's easy for students, kids, parents to criticize and break down others, the spirit of others. But to know yourself, it really takes a lifetime. And the more these kids are just staring at their phones, they're not looking so much into a mirror and reflecting on their actions and their voices and the words that they're saying. They're just on to the next, you know, tweet, click, whatever it may be. So I do recognize, Noreen, your concern there. And my hopes are that our new app and our new website will really help to dissuade that and give us, as parents, more peace of mind that we know our kids are there doing what they're supposed to be doing, whether they like it all the time or not, and that we can go about our day, our business, and to take care of our responsibilities. So yes, it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but I think as a society, you know, parents, teachers, students alike, we all have to look out for each other and not be demeaning and tear people down because of something they may or may not have seen, said, or done online. You know, bullying's always been around since we were kids, and we never had any devices. Now it just helps to facilitate it. So again, it's unfortunate that we have to do something like this, but I think it's in their best interest. It's in the school and the parents' best interests. You know, we all have to sometimes take a breath, and you know, whether it's students in the classrooms or parents dropping off their kids, they all have to get to the school, and we all have to get to work afterwards. And there's going to be traffic, and there's going to be other instances, and you have to deal with it more responsibly, with less blow-ups and anger and issues and things of that nature. So that's all I have to say on it. I'm going to stop rambling. I could be here for another 2 hours. Peter's not looking at me like, shut up. But yeah, I support this, and I'm really happy to see that we'll have an app to help ease the minds of us parents when there is an issue, or if there's an issue, we'll know about it as soon as possible. And I might even be able to get rid of my landline and not have as many school cancellation notices hit the phone all the time.
Yes, Jessica?
I think the only thing that wasn't mentioned that we talked a lot about in the policy meeting is the word banning. We're not banning them. It's just an extension of the restriction. So I appreciated Ms. Wood bringing that out because it seems like it's a win-win-win for everyone. Parents are in support, administration, staff. So I support it. It was a really easy decision. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Okay. And that is the final adjustment to the agenda, is that correct? I want to
Yes,
make
it
sure
is.
that I didn't miss anything. Okay. On to important dates. May 14th, this weekend, is the junior-senior prom at Ocean Gateway. May 17th at 5:30 is the Facilities Committee meeting here at the middle school. May 18th at programs at 5 at central office. May 19th at 7 is the Academic Recognition Night at the Westbrook High School Auditorium. May 23rd at 5 p.m. is the Policy Committee meeting at central office. May 26th at 7 is WRVC Awards Night at the Performing Arts Center. May 30th, Memorial Day, no school. Central office is closed. June 2nd at 5 is the Finance Committee meeting on Zoom. It is. We'll get back to you on that
June
date.
2nd, oh, it's at central office and Zoom.
Okay. And June 8th, school committee meeting at 7, Performing Arts Center. June 8th at 7 is class night here at the Performing Arts Center. June 9th at 7, school committee meeting here and on Zoom. And June 11th at 6 is graduation at Merrill Auditorium.
Great.
And June 16th is the last day of school. It is a half day.
Do we have 2 school committee meetings back to back in June on the 8th and the 9th?
Oh, I'm just reading things.
No,
I just realized that as I said it. I was like,
Surprise.
surprise.
I will
We'll pick
verify
a date.
those.
We'll draw a date from the hat and we'll get back to you on that.
I'll verify those, get those to you in the morning.
I just, that's what I was like. Okay, we'll get back to you on the specific date on that. All right, now we're on to public participation, any school-related matter. Is anybody that would like to speak on any school-related matter? Yes, ma'am.
Just a plug, Congan PTO is hosting a plant sale in the morning, Saturday, May 21st. A plant sale and baked goods, so if you're not a plant person, there's some yummy treats. And I heard a rumor that one of the PTO members dug up a whole truck full of beautiful lily plants today that will be at the bake sale. So we encourage you all and your friends to come down and support the Congan Cougars on May 21st in the morning.
At Concord, okay, awesome. Anything else, anyone? Okay, great. Any other announcements or anything? All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. By Beth, seconded by Katie. All those in favor? Okay. Meeting is adjourned.